Everyone, I just wanted to make a little video here talking about how sometimes God can lead you into something and it leads to suffering. And it's all because of something He told you to do and you obeyed Him on that. And the thing I want to talk about today is how God led me to this diet that I went on. And a part of that my nutritionist had me do is to give up fragrances, which was everything from the obvious, like perfume or scented lotions, down to laundry detergents, dish soap, like everything you can imagine. And the thing that I didn't realize before I did that was your body detoxes and your body isn't used to breathing in those things, those chemicals anymore. And so every time you do breathe them in, when you're exposed by things other people are wearing or using, you feel sick. Like what happens with me is sometimes I'll feel nauseous, sometimes I'll get a headache. Lately, it's hard to describe. Lately, it's been this overwhelming feeling of feeling off and almost feeling like I'm being poisoned or drugged. It's really hard to explain unless you've experienced that yourself. And so I've just been thinking lately about how this um this quote unquote suffering I'm experiencing, and it kind of is when it affects you every single day, is it came about because of my obedience to God and following Him to go on this diet and giving up these fragrances and chemicals. And so, yeah, it's just an example of how sometimes following God does not mean that you won't suffer. Like, it affects me every single day. It sometimes it's just ridiculous and I get very frustrated. And then I remember God led me to this, so God has a plan, and sometimes that helps and sometimes it doesn't. And so, yeah, I just wanted to say sometimes God's going to lead you to do something and it will cause you to suffer. And for me, what do you do? Chemicals and, things are going to be in our environment no matter what. And it's just something that I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of my life. And, um, yeah, like, God led me to this, and I just think about that often. I'm like, I'm suffering because I'm obeying God and doing what He told me to do. And that's not without, it hasn't been without benefits. This diet, this radical change of eating that I've done, this eating plan, which the giving up fragrances is a big part of that. It has done amazing things for me and my well-being, and that's in a whole nother video if you want to watch that. Um, yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. And so for anyone out there that's, I don't know, that's obeyed God and feels like things aren't going the way they thought, or they're suffering or dealing with a trial because of it, like that, I'm learning it happens, but it comforts me. It doesn't always work. Sometimes I still stay frustrated because it just sucks to be reacting to every fragrant thing known to man. But I just think about how God's led me to this, and you know what? God has a plan. God sees it. God's the one that led me to it. I'm just looking here to see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, in the past I was a jerk in my thinking. Like, I remember in a church bulletin, um, at my church back home, they had written in the bulletin that some people are sensitive to, fragrances and perfumes, and asking people not to wear those sorts of things. And me at the time, this was like 5 years ago, even longer, I was such a jerk in my thinking. Oh my gosh. I would think to myself, why should I stop wearing my lotion just because you can't handle it or something? And I'm thinking now, I'm on the other side of that, and I'm like, I was such a jerk. Like, oh my gosh. And I was like in church thinking that. And just the fact that I'm on the other side of it, it's, I mean, now that I'm the suffering one, I've developed more of a compassion, obviously, for people that are dealing with this sort of thing. So that's another thing. God brought me to a place where I don't know if humbled is the word, but God brought me to a place where it's like, I realized I was a jerk. So that's good that's come out of this too, as I've become more compassionate for people that are struggling with certain things. All right, I have talked and rambled way longer than I wanted to. So, yeah, I just wanted to share my thoughts on suffering when you're obeying God. Bye.